a 3 bedroom property for affordable housing. If you were on the live stream yesterday we looked at a 2 bedroom condo. Okay. So today we're going to look at a 3 bedroom townhome, right? So yesterday I was looking at 2 bedrooms, right? I'm in 27407 because that's where a property was sent to me by a fellow realtor. So I said, okay, well, let me go and figure out what's going on over here. Okay. Now, when I'm back in this property, right, 27407, I just simply filtered on the 3 bedroom properties in here and I zoomed in. Yesterday I was looking at a property in like Southwest Greensboro. So today I see a property for 135 and 125. Now, obviously, I haven't looked at the crime stats yet. I don't know where the red area is yet. So I don't know how safe this area is or what the crime looks like. But I just want to share with you how might you start to begin determining your buy box, quote unquote, for a market and determining what is a deal, quote unquote, for you. So let's look at this property, right? So I pulled up this property. Yesterday we looked at a property that was 2 bedrooms, and I believe that property was 125 grand too. Okay, well, now I see a 3 bedroom for 125 grand. So you must be thinking, wow, maybe this could be a deal then, if that's the scenario. So let's take a look at it. So this property is 125, and when I look at the condition of the property, I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, there's not like superficially, aesthetically, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with this property. I mean, I would probably put a cage on the HVAC unit to be honest with you, so I would do that. All right. So now that I got this, the next thing I want to do is I want to get my rents. So as you saw yesterday, I could find the payment standards just by Googling HUD Greensboro Housing Authority 2025 payment standards. And you can see right here in the AI overview, it says the 3 bedroom payment standards is 1607. Just remember that usually payment standards includes utilities. So if you don't include utilities as part of your monthly rent, you have to deduct the utility allowance by your ceiling rent, which is 1607 for a 3 bedroom, right? And just so you can see it on the website, it links you to right here, and you can see that right here. It says current payment standards are as follows: 3 bedrooms is 1607. So if your utility allowance for a 3 bedroom townhome, right, not single family home, 3 bedroom townhome is $50, right? And you don't cover your electricity as part of your rent, then your maximum rent is now 1607 minus 50, so that's 1557. So that's how I would go about analyzing the deal. But there's also one more thing for you to consider, and that is called the rent reasonableness test. All right. So, in order to get the rent reasonableness test, I need to go to affordablehousing.com. I need to go to the owner section. I'm going to go to the market rent estimator. I'm going to plug in the bedroom count. And I see right here that for 25 units within a 0.79 mile radius, the average rent is 1310. Okay. This tells me that I have to compare 1310. I'll delete this. 1310. This is for a 3 bedroom property, and that's for a 0.79 mile radius. 0.79. The door is open, Soleil. All right, so now I get 1310, and now I'm putting in my 3 bedroom payment standard, 3 bed payment standard to be 1607. So now that I got this payment standard in here, I'm going to compare the lower of the two, which is 1310. So for me, I'm going to underwrite this property as 1310 unless you have a comp that supports a higher rent amount. Now you can do that by going to Zillow, right? Looking for the rent star apartment. So you can go to Zillow.com, 24707, right? Whoops. 27407. 27407. You can look at for rent. Oh, thank you, Soleil.
Daddy,
Yes, Soleil?
Daddy, I want to go on Daddy.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
You're hungry? You just ate dinner. Okay, you have some. So now that I see that the comps right here are in this area of random woods. Okay, you sit down right there. Random woods. So let me look at Zillow random woods right here. I can see that there's 3 units that are renting for 1240. So this tells me that the 1310 number is probably right. You said that these properties are renting for 1240 at 1100 square feet. That seems pretty reasonable, right? I mean, maybe you can go up to a little bit higher, 1300, because it's higher square footage, but it's going to be a tough sell because these are 2 bedroom units. Okay. So this tells me that 1310 is the right unit for this property. Yeah, this makes sense. All right. So now that I got my number here at 1310, let's go ahead and analyze the rest of this deal. All right. So I got $125,000, 100, technically 124, 500. And I got 7.5% interest rate. So for my renovations here, like what we said was, I'm gonna assume I probably need to repaint about a little bit of the place. So I'm gonna put in equals 300 square feet for painting at $3 a square foot. The flooring looked fine. I'm assuming I don't need to put in any utilities or appliances because it looks all set. I'm going to replace 2 of the toilets with high pressure flush toilets. And that's because I have them at my properties and I've never gotten a clogged toilet call before. So that's why I'm doing it. Then I need to put in a HVAC cage to make sure that it does not get stolen. So for 900 bucks, this makes me feel a lot better about the whole transaction. So I got a total rehab of roughly 3240. That's all I have here. 1310. I'm gonna get my taxes right from the Redfin calculator, not over engineering for now. So $72 for taxes. 72. My homeowner insurance is 49. So I'm gonna do equals 49 times 1.2. And I'm adding a 20% premium to the monthly insurance number because I'm recognizing that that insurance quote or estimate right here is likely for a property that, how would I say it? It's likely for a property that is used for a primary residence property. And when I use it as an investment property, insurance companies are going to view that as a riskier asset, hence why I'm adding a 20% premium. So just adding a little bit extra. For my expenses in row 32, I have 5% for maintenance set aside every single month because guess what? Something's going to break eventually. Doesn't matter if it's your HVAC, your water heater. I mean, the roof is going to be covered by your HOA or condo fees. I'm assuming this is a condo. When is a condo fee? Yeah, I don't know why I didn't list the condo fee. So let me see if I can find out on another website. Oh, where's the condo? So even though it doesn't list a condo, I'm gonna have to find it out. Why does it not tell me the condo fee? That's such a bad job by the listing agent. Yeah, why would you not list a HOA fee? That's just so silly. All right. Well, I'm gonna make up a number. Let's say it was 240 yesterday, but again, it's very dependent. So let's say it's 150, and I'm gonna underwrite with a few different scenarios today. I'm gonna put in 10% for property management expenses. I'm gonna put in 3% for my vacancy expenses, and assuming I rent this property out as a 3 bedroom for 1310, my down payment is going to be 25% in F19. So my down payment to the seller is going to be equals to B4 times my down payment percentage 25%. That gives me a total of 31 grand. I'll even put in 2.5% closing costs today. 2.5% times my purchase price. So my total closing cost is about 3 grand. Got $3,200 for my renovations that we covered earlier. So my financing amount in case 6 is going to equals to My asking price in B4 minus my down payment percentage of 31 grand. So that's 7.5%. All right. With all these numbers here, if my condo fee is only 150 bucks and I rent it out for 1310, I can cash flow $140 from this property with a 7.5% interest rate, and that will equal to a 4.5% return. Now, to me, that's not really a great deal because for 4.5%, I could probably just go buy a 30-year mortgage, like a treasury bond, and I could probably make almost that same amount. So you got to think about it, right? Is that worth my time, my headache, my energy to pursue a deal for a return of 4.5%? Well, that's why you got to listen to your own criteria and why are you buying this property, right? This is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. I'm asking you to talk out loud about what is your criteria. So if I turn this, let's say my criteria is 8%. What do I need to lower my purchase price by in order to get it to 8%? Okay, 100 grand. Great. 105, 109. Great. So at 109 grand, this would be a deal, quote unquote, for me. 109, because now my cash and cash return is 8%. Assuming else everything stays constant, I can rent out for 1310 and I have a net profit of $221 with a 3240 rehab, 25% down, 7.5% interest rate. That's why I'm asking the details, right? But what if my HOA is actually a lot higher than I thought? What if it's 200 bucks instead of HOA? Before it was 150. Now I'm putting it 200. If my HOA is now 200, what happened? It dropped my cash and cash return. So now I have to go to 102. Great. So you see that just because the HOA fee went up by 50 bucks, right, to 200 bucks, even though my interest rates are the same, 25% down, 7.5% interest rate, my rehab's still the same at 3240. I'm still renting out a 3 bedroom for 1310. And now I'm cash flowing 209 a month to get to 8% in return on my capital. But I have to buy for $7,000 less just because my HOA fee went up by 50 bucks. And this is how you adjust the levers up and down in order to analyze the deal. This is what people mean by you got to run the numbers. This is running the numbers. Learn how to run all the scenarios and do the sensitivity analysis on, hey, what happens if this happens, right? What can I afford to pay for that deal so that I don't get emotional, right? Because let's say the interest rate dropped from 7.5 to 6.5%, right? Overnight, right? That could happen overnight. 1 point drop. The spread might narrow and the interest rate might drop a little bit. And all of a sudden, if your criteria is still 8%, whoops, I don't want too many zeros. I'll be 110, 111, 110. So now all of a sudden, when interest rates dropped 1%, even though my HOA still went up by 50 bucks, right, from the last scenario, but staying same from the last scenario, 3240, now I'm paying 110 grand just to achieve the same cash and cash return for the deal. Okay. Because now I'm still cash flowing $222 a month. And the reason we want to go through this scenario so that you can figure out, hey, what's the deal for you, right? So let's say interest rates went down to 6.5%, but all of a sudden you go into the property, you get an inspection, and you realize that, oh my goodness, this property is in such a worse condition. I need to replace the HVAC. I need to replace all the appliances. Now all of a sudden my rehab tripled. So 3,200, my rehab tripled to 9,720, and that's cash out of my pocket. So now 6.5% interest rate, $200 HOA. All I can afford for this property now to achieve the same return Oh, really? Ready to go eat? Did she share with you?
No, Mama, take
Oh,
it.
it's okay. Can you share with her?
No,
Why not?
because I don't want to eat all of them.
Grandma loves it when you share with her, though.
No.
You know, when you share with daddy, you make daddy so happy.
Yeah, I don't share that.
Oh, thank you for sharing with me.
I don't like share, Mama.
You have to share with mama.
I don't like
Mama
share.
loves to carry you so much.
No,
Mama loves you so much.
I don't like
All right, let me finish this up. So now you saw that the rehab tripled. My asking price now lowers to $103,000, even though everything else stays same. Because now I'm cash from 255 a month, and I can still achieve a 8.1% return. So that's the criteria I want to go through with you, right? That's the exercise I want to go through with you.
exercise.
Instead of wondering, hey, is something a deal? This is how you figure out what is a deal for you. And this is why it's so important, right? You have to understand what you're doing, why you're doing this, and ultimately adjust the criteria so that you figure out what's the deal for you. And again, if you guys want a copy of the spreadsheet, go to affordablehousing.io, click on the deal analysis tool, and that's the fastest way for you to get a copy of the spreadsheet that I just used, right? I have nothing to sell you. I simply want you to get the practice and understand what is a deal. And my hope is this, right? You analyze the same deal I analyzed today using the same spreadsheet and start your own YouTube channel because someday your kid, just like my kid right now, is going to be watching your videos
My jacket.
or asking, hey, why do you think this is a deal? And you can show them the process, but also say, I know this is a deal because I've been looking at properties for the past 596 days. Might you feel a little confident that you know what you're doing? Might your kids be a little wild that you did something for 596 days in a row? They honestly might not be, but it's okay. It's about you demonstrating to them
There was
how to stay
clay.
consistent.
There was clay.
All right, I want to go play. All right, I hope you all have an amazing Saturday. Spend some quality time with your family and friends today because that's what life is all about. And I'm going to go play with my daughter. All right, have an amazing Saturday, everybody. And DM me anytime on Instagram or LinkedIn if you have any questions. Have a good one, everybody. Let's do it.